Thank you everyone for joining today and registering for this course. So I'm very happy to be with all of you. So today we'll be starting our Bhagavad Gita Simplified course. So this course will lay the foundation for our deeper learning. So this course, Bhagavad Gita Simplified course. So we'll see like how this course will help us to get the foundation so strong. So just before starting, like I just want to introduce myself and our team here. Like we are going to present today and help us. So myself, Smith Keshav Das. So my legal name is Srinath. Currently, I'm working in HCL Technologies. I worked in HP earlier, and I am connected to ISKCON and practicing Krishna consciousness from 2010, since 2010. And also I take some classes like Bhakti Ruksha and Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam classes. So that's a small intro about me. And we have our Sankarshan Nitrai Prabhu and also Akshay Prabhu with us who are helping us. So Sankarshan Nitrai Prabhu also, they both are very good in speaking in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam classes. So they also will help us today in our class. So that's a small intro about of us who are there in the meeting. And we'll start with prayers. Like we know that every session and every activity we do, we'll start with prayers. And we are going to discuss about Bhagavad Gita, learn about Bhagavad Gita course. So we'll start with prayers, praying that it will invoke the auspiciousness and we'll be able to understand the Bhagavad Gita topics. So I'll do the prayers. I'll pray myself. You can just listen to me. If you know, you can do with me. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितमेन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Yeah. So and also like I'll request all of you to have a paper and a pen with you to have some notes. So whatever we discuss and whatever we hear today, and it will be very helpful for you for further continuing and understanding the concepts. You can refer back again. And also we'll have a quiz at the end of last session where it again will help us to refer your notes to get that. So that's a humble request. So with this, we will like to have some introduction about our like the ISKCON and our temple. So we'll just have to be on one more small video. So Akshay Prabhu will play that video now. We'll just hear that video and then we'll start off today. Okay. Thank you.
Humanity has been on a quest for sustainable peace and happiness since time immemorial. Yet despite unprecedented advances in science, technology, and other fields, peace and happiness continue to elude the current population. A recent study by the World Health Organization revealed that the biggest medical challenge the world faces today is depression. In India itself, 57 million people are affected by depression. Studies are indicating a steady rise in anxiety disorders and substance abuse amongst the youngsters. An immensely saintly and compassionate visionary, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, foresaw these problems more than 50 years ago and worked selflessly and tirelessly for a solution. One of his main purposes of setting up the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, popularly known as ISKCON, was to provide spiritual wisdom and care to help society achieve real peace and unity. In the last 50 years, ISKCON has established 600 temples and centers in more than 80 countries that are regularly visited by almost 18 million people every year, sold 520 million books on Vedic philosophy and culture, distributed 3 billion plates of sanctified vegetarian meals worldwide, conducts more than 6,000 cultural festivals each year, inspired millions of youths to give up detrimental habits and adopt responsible and meaningful lives, and runs 65 eco-friendly farms to practice simple living and high thinking. ISKCON is now the largest NGO in India and one of the 10 largest NGOs in the world. The ISKCON Cultural Center, also known as the ICC, is attempting to effectively carry out the legacy of its founder Srila Prabhupada in South Bengaluru. By engaging people of all ages in meaningful philosophical discussions, devotional music, dance, dramas, debates, pilgrimages, and other cultural events, ICC is impacting the lives of thousands of people. Its vision is to be a unique place that transforms and nourishes the community with spiritual wisdom, care, and love. To help develop the youth, ICC regularly conducts seminars on philosophy, ethics, art, and culture, yoga retreats to focus on inner development, and presentations and counseling sessions on leadership skills, personality development, effective communication, and other relevant topics. ICC has started constructing a new facility geared towards the needs of the young population. The facility will include an extensive Vedic library, rooms for seminars and classes, a large auditorium to host various cultural events, play area for children, and a beautiful temple of Sri Radha and Krishna and Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra. The new facility is expected to be ready by 2023 and will serve a very important purpose in the holistic development of the people and especially the youth of South Bengaluru. We encourage you to visit us and become part of a wonderful journey of self-realization and happiness. Thank you and Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You're able to hear me? Is it clear?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, well, thank you. So we have seen the video now. So we can understand that how every country is famous for one thing, right? Japan is famous for kind of different kinds of automobiles or kind of different kind of gadgets. So like one country, Germany is famous for watch, Switzerland is famous for watches. So like one country is famous for one thing. So we can similarly see India is famous for spirituality. So and especially if you see Prabhupada, like a founder Acharya of ISKCON Srila Prabhupada. So at the age of 70, he traveled across the country. He went to the West. So he took a lot of troubles while going on his journey. And Prabhupada actually, he got heart attacks while traveling in the cargo ship towards the West. And he preached the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Gita all over the world. And Prabhupada has established 108 temples and make 10,000 disciples all over the world. So, and the legacy is still continuing what Prabhupada has done. And Prabhupada has given this Bhagavad Gita knowledge to everyone. So once I'll just tell an incident which will help us to hook to the topic today of Bhagavad Gita. Like Prabhupada once went to London, and there immediately one of the reporter came and asked Prabhupada, why you have come to London? So then Prabhupada said, so you people you came to India and you have looted all the things from us. You have taken so many things from us, but you forgot to take one thing. You know what is that thing? Forgot to take the Bhagavad Gita, which is the essence of all the spirituality. And I came to give that to all of you. So Prabhupada told that so very boldly. So that's what we are all here to today start our session of Bhagavad Gita Simplified course. So once again, I would like to heartily welcome all of you for this session. And very happily to be with all of you and very fortunate to be with you. And we'll start the session for today. Before starting the session, like what is the objective of this session is that we'll be having the pragmatic approach, like sensible approach, what we're going to do, and using Bhagavad Gita, how we'll have that eternal joy and peace. And what are the goals of this course is we'll be able to understand the message of Bhagavad Gita, and we'll be able to get the clarity of what is our identity exactly, who am I, and we'll be able to understand who is Lord and what is my relationship with him, how I'm connected to him, and understanding the values of life and connecting to it. So we'll see that. Going to next slide. So this very interesting slide. So we all heard about Bhagavad Gita, correct now? But what is Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita. So Gita means song of, Gita means only song, Gita, song. So who sang the song? Bhagavan. Song of the person who is Lord Bhagavan, Krishna, who has came and sung that song. That is Bhagavad Gita. So it was directly spoken by Lord Krishna when he is on the planet Earth. And it is the conversation between Lord Krishna and Arjuna. Like for example, say I want to talk to some person, I would like to converse in a language he can understand, so it can easily converse it. So Bhagavad Gita is some conversation between Arjuna and Krishna, which happened in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So generally we know how the battlefield is, right? The battlefield will be like, it will be like so much of horses, elephants, so much of noise. So there will be a lot of anxiety to win the war and a lot of thoughts. So in that place, Krishna gave the Bhagavad Gita knowledge to Arjuna in 40 minutes. The conversation happened in 40 minutes, and he could able to make Arjuna understand, and Arjuna able to understand what Krishna is saying. The conversation happened in 40 minutes. And there are total 18 chapters in Bhagavad Gita, and there are 700 verses in Bhagavad Gita. And when this Bhagavad Gita was spoken, it was spoken 5,180 years ago on planet Earth. It was spoken 5,000 years back. So how to understand this? I'll just give an example to understand like how it is. Like we all might have heard that there are 4 yugas, right? Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga. Now currently we are in Kali Yuga. So Satya Yuga, how to understand Satya Yuga means that's the time where Prahalad and Narasimhadev was there, and the past times happened in Satya Yuga. And Treta Yuga was the time where Lord Ram came, and Dwapar Yuga time where Lord Krishna came on the planet. So that was the time Dwapar Yuga Lord Krishna came and he has given this knowledge to Arjuna 5,000 years back. So then Dwapar Yuga, we are in Kali Yuga currently. So this Bhagavad Gita was spoken 5,180 years ago, and this Bhagavad Gita as already spoken by Lord to Sun God Vivaswan. So Sun God is called as Vivaswan. So Surya Bhagavan, Lord has given this Bhagavad Gita knowledge millions of years ago. So Lord comes again and again to give this knowledge. In Bhagavad Gita also Lord explains that. So whenever there is a break in the chain of disciplic succession or chain of knowledge, Lord comes, Lord descends and gives this knowledge. So Lord has given this knowledge millions of years ago already to Sun God. So Lord has again came and gave this knowledge to Arjuna, and we are also benefiting because of that knowledge. And when Lord Krishna spoke this Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, 2 people heard it, Arjuna and also Sanjaya. So who is Sanjaya? How Sanjaya could able to hear that Bhagavad Gita? So Sanjaya is assistant of Dhritarashtra, and Sanjaya could able to see like a live telecast. Now how we are doing video conferencing, we are able to see me, right? Similarly, Sanjaya could able to see what was happening in Kurukshetra, very far from Hastinapur, and you were able to see that what's happening over there. So Sanjaya got that empowerment from Vyasadeva, because he's a disciple of Vyasadeva. Because of the empowerment, he got the spiritual vision where he could able to see like live telecast what's happening in the warfare very easily. And Lord gave this knowledge Bhagavad Gita. So,
Prabhuji.
For what purpose?
Prabhuji, devotee is requesting to go a bit slow, and there is a bit noise is coming your side. Maybe you can close the door. Some baby crying. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, yes. Prabhuji.
Yeah, sure, Prabhuji. I'll go a bit slow. Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, Bhagavad Gita knowledge actually, you see, Bhagavad Gita was given by Lord for the like kind of manual for humanity. So if you purchase any electronic gadgets, like if you purchase a mobile phone, a latest mobile phone, or if you purchase a laptop, so how will we be able to operate it? So we don't know if we operate without knowingly, it may get corrupted also, correct? So like we should know how to operate any electronic gadgets. Similarly, if you see the place where we are in this Earth planet, and what the body, how our human body is, so how to lead our life, we need a manual. So Lord has given this knowledge which really helps us. It's a manual for us to understand how to lead our life, how to lead a successful life, and what is our real dharma. So Lord has given it in Bhagavad Gita. So that's it's called Manushya Dharma. So Lord has given us, it's Sanskrit, it's called Manushya Dharma. It is a manual for humanity. Okay, so we'll just have this slide where we understand in this like how Bhagavad Gita has come. The Bhagavad Gita is part of Mahabharata. So we all heard about Mahabharata. It's a itihasa. It is a story. So it was composed by Vyasdev 5000 years ago, and Vyasdev has spoken it, and Ganesh has written it. And we all know the Bhagavad Gita is part of Mahabharata, where it was spoken by Lord on the battle of Kurukshetra. So it is one of the Upanishads, one of the 108 Upanishads, which is very, very important Upanishad, which understands really help us to understand what is the Manusha Dharma, what is the real Dharma of human life. And as I already discussed, that Lord has spoken this knowledge to Arjuna. So, and I would request Akshay Prabhu to post one poll. Just we all can answer that poll. It's a simple poll. Yes. Can you please answer this poll? Okay. Let's see this poll at the end. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for answering. And please answer the poll. So, yeah. So we understood that now, how Bhagavad Gita is one of the important Upanishads, 108 Upanishads. Okay. Let's close this poll. Yeah. And Lord has spoken this knowledge to Arjuna on the battlefield. Let's go to the next slide. So now we understood that it's important document, and we will come to know like how important it is. Now we see here, we want to know like how we have, like for example, you see here, this document what Bhagavad Gita we are discussing, it has been commented by so many acharyas. So they have commented, why? Because it is very important for human form of life to understand. Like for example, let's say how we have taken birth. We have taken birth like from our mother womb. How we entered our womb, we don't know, right? That's a secret. So to understand our journey, like how we have taken birth, and what is death, and what we have to do as a part of our life, and what is our dharma, like all these things are explained as a part of this Bhagavad Gita. And that's why so many acharyas has written commentary on Bhagavad Gita. So for example, you see the verse here from Gita Mahatmya, commentary written by Shankaracharya. Here we will see the Gita Shastram idam punyam yah patet prayatah puman Vishnu padam avapnoti bhaya shokadi varjitaha. I'll read the translation. Bhagavad Gita is a transcendental literature which one should read very carefully. You see here word very carefully. If one properly follows the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, one can be freed from all miseries and anxieties in this life, and one's next life will be spiritual. So here in this verse it said that we should read properly Bhagavad Gita very carefully, and also it tells about how one can free from all miseries and anxieties in this life, and also one's next life will be also spiritual. So that's why we can understand that it was commentary was written by so many acharyas about Bhagavad Gita, which talks about this life and also what will happen out next life. So yeah, that's how important is Bhagavad Gita. So we are very fortunate to understand this concepts of Bhagavad Gita. So let's see. Yes, many acharyas have written commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Why I should practice Bhagavad Gita, right? We should understand why I should practice Bhagavad Gita. If you see on the slide, there is a staircase there, and there are so many words written over there. You see there are lower staircase and there is upper staircase. And the lower staircase, you see there are the qualities which are like negative qualities, and the upper staircase, you see there are positive qualities, right? And like if you observe here, we all know that if you are having all these negative qualities, we are getting pulled down. We will suffer like anything. We'll try down to hellish planets. Like we have greed, we have envy, and we are having false prestige, we are anger. So all these negative qualities will make us glide down, will go down into our life. So but by practicing Bhagavad Gita, by understanding the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and practicing Bhagavad Gita, we'll get the qualities of sense control, austerity, study of Vedas. We'll understand the Vedas, and we'll work according to the spiritual master instructions. We'll accept spiritual master and work according to the instruction of spiritual master. And like we'll become so content, we'll be very satisfied, and we will be very happy. We'll be person like who will be like lovable and respectable among all. So that's why we should practice Bhagavad Gita. So like we'll be respectable, I said, not only among the people us, like we'll be respectable among the demigods, and we'll be respectful among the like many kind of other people also. That's how if you practice Bhagavad Gita, we'll acquire all these positive qualities, and we'll get the real aim of life, and we'll elevate ourselves in our consciousness. So which will result us by practicing result in our eternal joy, and we'll get the highest platform of intelligence. Let's go to the next slide. And we might have asked a question like, we are registered for Bhagavad Gita. So there are so many versions of Bhagavad Gita. So just a second. Sorry for the noise. Just a second. Hare Krishna. Sorry for that inconvenience. Yeah. So I was discussing about this slide, like where we ask a question that Bhagavad Gita, there are so many versions of Bhagavad Gita. So, and there are so many people speak about Bhagavad Gita. So which Bhagavad Gita I should follow, like what I should do, how I should understand this knowledge is authentic or not. So we can easily understand from this slide, we can seeing here. So this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Lord Krishna. So Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Krishna is like Krishna, when Krishna is like on the planet, we can see his pastimes, what he performed, and what Leela he performed is phenomenal, correct? It was very, very attractive. So even now, if there is any Krishna Katha or Ram Katha, we want to hear that. We always eager to hear it. Nowadays, we see that teleserials about Lord Krishna, Lord Rama. Like we are very eager to it, and we want to hear it, and we want to see it, and very interested to know about it. So Krishna is so attractive that it attracts everyone. And Lord is beyond all the defects. Like we have defects, but Lord is beyond all the defects, and his intent is very pure to give this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to all of us. So that's why Lord he given this knowledge to Arjuna, through Arjuna to all of us, and how we should learn that knowledge. That's very important. And I was coming to the point of how authentic it is. So Lord has given this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. So we should share from Arjuna like that. We should continue hearing from in that succession, disciplic succession. Like example, I'll tell like Gurukul. Like we all know about Gurukul. So we go to Gurukul, we accept Guru, right? And we hear from the Guru. And the Guru will have disciples, and we hear what our Guru says, and we follow it. And similarly, as days pass on, the disciples again they'll treat the knowledge, I'll gain the knowledge, and they'll give the knowledge down in the parampara to other disciples also. So they'll able to understand like that. The knowledge keeps on continuing. Similarly, like bona fide parampara is one where we can easily understand that Lord Krishna has given knowledge to the Brahma and then Narada, like it continues in the Acharyas. So if you see here easily that knowledge has been coming down in the Acharyas, in the disciplic succession, and Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada comes in Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, where Prabhupada has heard from his Acharyas, and Prabhupada has given commentary on Bhagavad Gita, and that's what Bhagavad Gita as it is. That means it was what Lord intended to say Arjuna, that knowledge, the same knowledge has been brought down in the parampara carefully, and it has been given to all of us. So Prabhupada has written Bhagavad Gita as it is, the title is as it is. So it is as it is what Krishna want to convey us. So that's tells the authenticity of Bhagavad Gita, what we are going to hear, what we are going to learn. And also I would request, like if you have any other questions or anything, you can put down in the chat. Our Sankar Shrintaya Prabhu will help us to answer your questions. Is it clear, Prabhuji, my voice? Akshay Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. But still the devotees are asking to go slowly.
Sure, Prabhuji. I'll go slow.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So yeah, we all now coming to the topics what we are going to discuss about Bhagavad Gita in further sessions. So Bhagavad Gita simplified course we have actually made as so nice concepts of themes of Bhagavad Gita like Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Karma, and Kala. These are the 5 topics which Bhagavad Gita what we are going to discuss, and it's like we'll be learning these topics of Bhagavad Gita which are at the surface level now. We'll be able to understand those topics and we'll have further courses, advanced courses to understand Bhagavad Gita in deep. Like we'll go chapter by chapter, verse by verse. We'll have further courses, but we'll see in these topics like understanding about Ishvara. Who is Ishvara? Ishvara in the word Sanskrit means controller. So one who controls the whole universe, whole our creation. So who is Ishvara and how he is we'll get to know. And Jiva, like who is Jiva? So we are Jivas. Who are we? And what is the relationship with the Lord? And why are we here? What is we will understand the concept of Jiva. So today we are going to see that who are we exactly. And we also discuss about Prakriti. So Prakriti means like we are on the planet Earth, right? And planet Earth, we see there are so much of serenity. There will be sometimes calamities. So there are so many things happening, and we'll understand Prakriti, like what is this material nature, what is the nature, how it is there, and we'll get to know what are the modes we act, and what are these calamities, how I am getting suffered because of this. We all get to know in Prakriti, and we'll see about karma. So karma is very simple to understand. Like karma means very easy statement to understand is for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So we do an activity, I give a charity, I'll get some credits after it. I do a sinful activity, make one suffer. So I'll get some reaction to it. So that is about karma. We'll go in depth understanding what is that karma. So and we'll go in detail in the session. And one more important topic is about Kala, that is time. So we all know that every day sun rise in the east and set in the west. So by that time, one day is over. So like that, time goes faster, and time as time goes on, so many things get changes. Correct? We become old, so we grow. So like that, so many things get changed. So what is this Kala exactly? We'll get to know the topic also in the further sessions. Okay. So yeah, let's see, we'll come to the today's topic. So we might have so many questions, right? For example, we want to like how do we attain eternal joy? So like we try so many things, right? We get first rank in the class, I may feel happy. Or we play cricket match that I won, so I may get happy. But we all observe that whatever we do these activities, so we that happiness doesn't last for long, right? But we all seek for happiness in so many varieties, and we want to be eternally happy, right? How can we attain that? And also we see that why do bad things happen to good people? So we might have seen that, Array, this person is very bad, but he is very happy, and he's very good, but why I'm good, but why these bad things are happening to him? Does God exist? We may also get a question. I cannot see him. How? Why? Why? How does God exist? How I'll get to know? So who am I exactly? And like that, we will understand more by practicing, by understanding Bhagavad Gita. The sessions we'll understand more about it, and all these questions will easily be answered in our sessions. So we'll understand this and we'll practice it. We'll get to know and we'll easily understand. Uh, these questions, and we'll realize these questions very and get all the answers in these sessions. Let's go to the next slide, and we'll see here like what is difference between this. I spoke about material, I told about spiritual. So what is this material and what is spiritual, and why have to learn these spiritual topics? So we understand here this now material. What is material means? There are things like which is there already existing, and we keep on doing researching to find what is it exactly. Things are already there, so we research and we just try to find about it. For example, we call research department, R&D department. So what they do is there is a gold already there, iron ore is already there. They want to know how it formed, like we know pearls how it formed. So they all want to know which how it has formed. So they do a research and they find it. This is already existing truth, right? And and they keep on doing that. So example, I'll say like in the previous days they told earth is flat, correct? So they did research and many people told earth is flat. So if you go at the end of the earth, you may fall down, right? So like that, but later they came to know and they understood that earth is round, and a lot of people they spoke about it. So they keep changing and they want to do research what is there existing, they try to discover it and then document it. So like that it happened. And that's about the material subjects what we see. But lot of advancement happened, like what are there in the material things. So we have gadgets, we have computers, we have so much technology, but still there is a lot of suffering, right? But spiritual things are something like word spiritual may seem to be something understanding like what is this spirit and ritual spirit. So we tend to use the word spiritual like in a very different way. We say that if I wear a sari, so and instead of chudidar, I may feel like I'm spiritual. And if I just lit a lamp, I may feel that I'm spiritual. If I just go to a temple, I may feel that I'm spiritual, right? So like that, we tend to see that spiritual in different way. But exactly what spiritual meaning is to understand what is our real identity, right? And what is my connection with the Lord, and understanding that how I should practice my current life, how I should do my activities in this life, which will help me to attain that real destination, which is the real success of life. So that is about the spiritual. So we understanding about that. So we should learn these topics because we should understand a real identity and which will help us to find the real happiness and real success in our life. Let's move on. Like now, the very interesting and the $2 million question. Like very like who are we exactly? So if we ask who are we, so if you ask any one of you like who are you, we may say that my name is Srinath and my parents are so and so. I am staying in so and so address. So if I tell that I myself as my name is Srinath, is the name given to me uh, like when I was born, the name given to me? No, right? When I was born, there is no name for me. Correct? I cannot identify with the name also. So it's keep like I cannot identify with my name, right? And and if I ask someone, if I catch hold of someone and ask him, what is this? We tell that it is my hand. And I ask him, what is this? It is my eyes. I ask him, what is this? My nose. And what is this? My lips. So he tell my hand, my eyes, and my lips. So who is that my? Correct, no? He's saying that mine. So who is that mine exactly? And yeah, so we understand that who is that mine. We are, if you are telling that it's mine, who is that mine? So to easily understand it, for example, one of our relative passed away. Is that we tell him that he passed away, right? So he's lying over there as a body is lying over there. But tell that he passed away. Who passed away? So that passed away, what we say is that living force, what we are exactly. So that is called spirit, soul, atma. That is exactly what we are. That is our real identity. Getting right? So that's our real identity, what we have to understand. So let's understand this. So I explained that we if you see in this slide, if you see there is a loss. If you see here, there is a camera and there is eye there. As I said, we are spirit, soul, correct? And we have, but we have see our what we see every day in our mirror is our body, right? I see our eyes. I said we see our eyes, and we see our hands, we see our ears, right? So if you understand that how the camera, the picture, if you explain how the camera works, like camera takes a snapshot, right, and it gives the picture to us, which is understandable format. Similarly, our eyes, like I say, it's a gross which we can observe, like what we are seeing. So every day we see our eyes, right? Eyes will take a snapshot, and which will help us to understand what we're going to see. That will make us our mind to understand what is that. Similarly, our ears. So we hear the sound vibrations, and we're able to understand the sound vibrations when we go to the mind, and we understand that sound, and we're able to understand it. Like that's our ear works, correct? And also the smell, we are able to smell through our nose, right? We are able to smell through our nose. And similarly we feel the touch through our fingers. So when you see that here in the picture, that we'll feel the sense of touch. So if you see all these things, all these senses what we are able to see here, it's like kind of missions only, right? How the camera takes snapshot, how the microphone which we can speak, we're able to hear the sound vibrations, and how we speak, like our speaker makes sound, it makes sound. So all these things we observe in a lively body, right? The person is live when there is, I told that when there is a presence of soul. But all these senses, will it be active when a person dies? No, right? So when a person dies, he cannot hear, he cannot smell, or he cannot do anything. So all these senses are what we are doing, this consciousness through which we are able to see, able to hear, right, able to feel touch. This is because of presence of soul. So we are interacting through our senses. This whatever senses we have, we're interacting this world, we're able to perceive it because of presence of soul. So that's very important point, as I told earlier. So we are like what we see in the mirror is what we are with our gross body, which we can see all the senses, and these senses are active and are conscious because of presence of soul. These are like Krishna also explains that it's like entra, it's like a missions what we are able to do all these things, but because of presence of soul we're able to perceive all these things. And we will see here like how can this all I discussed that understanding more in the topic that uh, all these material objects we see around the world, can they act by themselves? For example, you see here there is a robot. So can the robot act by itself? No, right? It needs interaction of human to do that actions. So human intervention is required there for robot to act. Like very mean what I'm trying to say is the matter itself cannot work. That's what the main point. Like I said, eye itself cannot work. We need the presence of soul in the body for eye to have that vision. So and also like we can see in the picture here there is a car, right? Very interesting example and very easy to understand this concept of who we are exactly. So if you see example of car, can a car move an inch without the driver inside the car? Not possible, right? Maybe you may tell that there may be driverless cars, but even for that, a person has to program it, person has to do some operation, then only the car will move. So understanding the concept here is that without the presence of driver inside the car cannot move an inch. Similarly, without the presence of soul inside the body cannot move an inch, right? The soul is the main thing which we can, which because of soul, the consciousness is there. The dead body, we cannot see that consciousness. So that we can easily understand. Similarly, if you see the whole universe around us, see there is Himalayas mountain, there are so many rivers. So and we easily see that these are all there in the nature. There will be definitely a person behind this all this also, right? How example I told that our body is like car and soul inside the car is the driver inside the car is, especially there is in the car, because of the driver the car is moving. Similarly, because of presence of soul you have this consciousness. And similarly, if you see as universe, we are seeing a lot of things. Like example, I'll tell very easy example to understand that we are on the planet earth, right? And planet earth is such a huge mass, right? And rotating with a very high speed. And it's in its orbit from long billions of years. Our solar system is around 4.2 billion years. And from that time we can see that earth is not even a single inch moved away from the target, right? So there should be a person behind this thing to have it happen like that, right? So you can easily understand that for every matter to exist or every matter to act, there should be a person behind it. So that's how we easily understand the concept. So just remember the concept of this driver in a car. Similarly, our body is a yantra like car, and we are the person sitting inside the car, that is soul. We are the soul inside the body. So that's how we can easily understand this analogy of who are we exactly. Furthermore, understanding this, so in detail, like we'll see here a tree here, right, in this slide. So you see half part of the tree is dried up and half part is green. So why it is? Because the living force, the part of the tree is gone away. That's why it is dried up. If you see other part of the tree, it is very green. It is having a lot of leaves. So it's another part of the tree having the branches, but it is dried up because the living force of the tree has gone away. And if you see down there, one more picture, you see person is lying down there, and from his body, you see the soul is coming out. So that's understand that as a soul, we are in the body, we are soul. In the time of death, the soul passes away from the body. So body is made up of matter, but the consciousness because of presence of soul inside the body. And very interesting story. So we can easily understand furthermore like about behind all these things. Definitely there will be a person, very high intelligence brain is there behind all these things. So this person is very famous person. The person who in this slide down, left side down, is Isaac Newton, and we all know him. He's very famous scientist who has given the theory of gravity, and we know very well. So Newton once told to his friends. So he was informing that if you understand the science very carefully, if you go deeper into the science and all our research, we can easily understand that there is a great brain. There's a great person behind all these things. So when Newton told this to his friends, hey, Newton, don't why you don't tell all these things? So how can you say that? So then Newton told they didn't understand when he's telling that that will be definitely a great brain and a great personality behind all these things. What is happening? So they thought, okay, anyhow, they are not understanding. What Newton thought is, he called all of them for his home for lunch. So he told, come all of us for home for tomorrow lunch. So in the home, he was making preparations for them. Now all of the friends, they came to his home. So when they came to home, they saw, you can see over in the picture also, there is a nice table where there is a kind of all the depiction of our solar system, like all the planets and all their orbits, with all the stands very nicely depicting our solar system. So they all got amused. So nice it is. They told Newton, it's so amazing. You can only do all these things. It was very nice. So Newton told, no, I didn't do anything there. So it just kind of, there are some chemical spill over there, and it just pop up by chance, and it became like that. They told, no, no, Newton, don't joke with us. Without the person coming there and arranging all these things in such a nice way, how can it be so nice solar system? So then Newton told, that's the point I was trying to say. So he told them, see, you are not you are not at all believing that the small the depiction of solar system only has come up just by chance, just by chemicals mixing. How can you believe that such a huge mass of Earth and so many living beings on it, having the Earth rotating in the orbit so nicely, so specifically? So how it is possible without the great person behind it? Understanding, right? So that's very eye opening. So understanding about really there for every like understanding the person behind the universe of creation. There's a person behind it. As we understand that for our body, we are the soul, and because of soul, the consciousness is there. And similarly, at a major level, if you see the universe, the creation, everything, there is a person behind it. So Newton so nicely explained this in the story. Yeah, that's. I will request Akshay Prabhu to poll the second poll. I request all of you to can give answer to that poll just before coming to this slide. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. I would request all of you, can you please answer this poll? Yeah, let's let it go on. So uh, yes, so and there is nice conversation here by the time you answer the poll. So I'll just read through it. So very interesting conversation here. So one person is a normal person is asking Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, Swamiji, I think our body is just a complex mission that gets worn out. Thank you for the poll. I'll just look at it. Yeah. I think our body is just a complex mission that gets worn out and crashes. Why should we bother about some soul powering the body? So if you see here, Prabhupada so nicely answered it. Does your car or computer grow? Do you have a male and female car that can unite and produce a baby car? And a living body undergoes six changes, whereas matter depreciates. It is the soul that makes living body alive. So Prabhupada so nicely answered here. You can see that as he's saying that our body is just like a mission, so it gets crashed at one day. But Prabhupada said our body is not just matter. It is not just matter. So if you can see that Prabhupada explained that can a male car and female car come together and produce a baby car? Not possible, right? But as a living force inside the body, when we come together in it, we produce a baby child, right? And also we see there are six changes. Like we take birth, we grow, we maintain, we produce byproducts, we dwindle, and then we die. So there are six changes happening in living any living force if it is there. So that's why that's the soul which makes our body alive. So Prabhupada very nicely explained six changes If you see any living force, you will observe there will be 6 changes, right? So very nicely Prabhupada explained this to a person. So understanding that the living force is the consciousness which will have this living these 6 changes. So if there is a living force, then definitely there will be 6 changes in the body. So let's go to the next one. So I'll just play a small video where Prabhupada is speaking about this matter about the different levels. So let me just play that video. Let me know if you can hear the video.
200 nurseries around here, we picked that particular one. The size.
You're able to hear, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Volume is fine. No? I shall increase the volume.
Volume is fine, Prabhuji. You can just play.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Bhagavati Akinchana Sarvai Gunai Tattva Samasati Sura Harama Bhakta Sato Mahadguna Manorathena Asato Dhavati Vahi. The meaning is that anyone who is God conscious, devotee, he has got all the good qualities. What we consider as good qualities, he has got. And similarly, one who is not a devotee of God, he has no good quality. Because he will hover on the mental platform. There are different platforms. Bodily concept of life, general, and this body. Therefore, my business is to satisfy the senses. This is bodily concept of life. And others, they are thinking, I'm not this body, I have mind. Well, they are going on mental speculation, like philosophers, thoughtfulness. And above that, there is intelligent class of men practicing some yoga. And spiritual platform is above that. First bodily concept, gross, then mental, then intellectual, then spiritual. So this Krishna consciousness movement is on the spiritual platform, above body, mind and intelligence. But actually, we should come to that platform because we are spirit soul. We are neither this body, nor this mind, nor this intelligence. So, one who is on the platform of spiritual consciousness, they have got everything. Intelligence, proper use of mind, proper use of the body. Everything is there. He must be at the same time, although he is hero, he must be generous. Just like Alexander the Great, perhaps you know the story. He arrested one thief. So when he was arrested and he was being judged by Alexander, the thief pleaded that what is the difference between you and me? You are a great thief, I am a small thief. So Alexander understood it and thought he was yes.
Hare Krishna. Let me go back. I think you might have not got that last part Prabhupada said. I'll just tell the last part and then I'll summarize like what Prabhupada explained. So Prabhupada is explaining that Alexander is a person we know that he has conquered so much of the places in the world. And when one of the thief was caught and he was brought to Alexander. So then that thief was pleading Alexander, saying that actually you are saying that I I am a small thief, but you are a large, big thief. So you're saying that I am taking others' property, but you have taken, we went to so many other places and you have conquered so many places there, you have taken their properties. So I'm a small thief. So they understood and they released him. So if you see in this video, Prabhupada so nicely explained that how people act on different platforms. People act on body platform, like people act on mental platform, people act on intellectual platform, and people act on spiritual platform. So we have seen like earlier, like how we understood that we see our body like every day, and that is like gross what we can see, correct? Our eyes, our ears, our nose, what we see. But we understood that that is what we see superficially, but internally consciousness is given through the soul. Soul's presence is there. So and there are like total three layers. I'll just give like, it's like gross body and subtle body, like Prabhupada explained that mind and intelligence, and then ego. Those are the subtle body which we cannot see, and then finally it's the soul. So gross body, which is made up of earth, water, fire, air, and ether, and then we have subtle body, mind, intelligence, and false ego, and finally we have soul. That's what we are exactly. So people act on different platforms thinking what they are, but actually what we are is we are soul. So but what we do every day, we give importance to our body, right? We have now understood that we are the soul. Like we see that at the end of death, what happens? The body, what we are thinking, what we are, it is thrown into a graveyard. It has been burned into ashes. Right now, we have to give importance to soul. That is what we are exactly understanding, right? So we will see furthermore in the session, like understand very clearly this concept and how important is that understanding the soul and giving importance to the soul is very, very important. Let's go to the next. Yeah. So, where actually understanding that like what we are, like what we associate with, what we will become. So where we're getting all this, what we have currently, like what books we read, what movies we watch, right? By reading the books, by we read the book of an author, and we want to be like that, what author has written there, and we want to we'll be like influencing by that, right? And we see movies, by seeing the movies we understand, and we also want to be like that. And we hear music, by hearing music we hear music, and we tend to be like what we understand there. And we keep friends that what we are, correct? Now we say that what we are associated with will be like that. So what have we have done till now is we observe what is there, and we try to be like that, and we'll try to have those things, acquire those things, we behave like that, correct? That's what we have done till now. So what we have to do now is we have an opportunity now, like all of you have taken your time, your energy to attend this course, so nice course on Bhagavad Gita, simplified course. Now we have our like we can write our scripts, new scripts, which really helps us. So our further life, now we understood that we are not this body, we are the soul. What we should do for it, and what is the food for soul, we'll understand more. So let's go to the next slide. So to understand, like I was saying, what we should do, like what we are doing currently, what will happen? We take garbage in, garbage only will be out. So we take good things in, good things will be out. So whatever we put in, so that will be coming out. So if I do some nonsense things, if I see some nonsense things, I'll see that, and that will be only coming out from my mouth. That will be my actions also finally. So if I associate with nice people, understanding things, so reading Bhagavad Gita, hearing nice lectures, so by that what will happen? Good things will come out, and our value will also inculcate those values. We are going to practice those values so nicely, and will become successful person. So this is called GIGO principle. Garbage in, garbage out, good in, good out. It's called GIGO principle. And now understanding furthermore, understood that what we are saying is not exactly what we are, and we are the soul. So but if you see here in the picture, there is cow, there is a human, there is elephant, there is a deer, there is a dog, there is snake, there is eagle. If you see that all these pictures, there is one spark at the position of heart. So that is what soul. So as Lord explained in Bhagavad Gita that he will be in the region of the heart. So all this from the material point of view, if you see, those are all like different living entities, correct? So different living entities are there. They are not just like bodies. Like we understand that when we die, the body is burned into ashes, or it is being put into the graveyard, right? It's not just that at all, because as I understood that we are soul, and we are in this body. We actually we are soul. So similarly, all other living entities, like what we see here, cow. So cow is also soul which has taken this body presently. Similarly, elephant, the soul is there in elephant body. So the soul has been taken currently in this body. Similarly, there is dog, snake, eagle. Example, take example of snake. Why the living force has taken the snake's body? Because if a person is envious mentality, so envy means, let me explain envy very short. Like we all know about jealous. So jealous means that he has something which I don't have. That means that is called jealous. I'm feeling that I don't have it. But envy means I don't have it, he has it. But if I don't have, no problem, but he should not have it. So that is envy, much dangerous. So if person is very envious, always troubling others, and he's doing all kind of troubling others and other activities. So Lord will give him, okay, you take snake's body where you can always do this kind of activities. So like that, every living entity, based on the desires, bodies will be given by, awarded by the Lord. Similarly, different living entities we can see around us. So, and also as I told earlier, you can easily understand that all these living entities, including plants, we can see that 6 changes. Like 6 changes you can see here, and all the animals also, we can see that 6 changes. So when there is a consciousness, definitely there is birth, there is growth, there is maintenance, there is dwindling, byproducts, dwindling, and then death. So that's, we can easily understand. So we are not just a matter. We are the spirit souls. We are only the main consciousness force behind this. We are the living force. Hare Krishna. So let's summarize what we discussed till now. So we can easily understand this by seeing this picture. Like if you see here, a small baby taking birth, right? And it grown into boyhood, toddler, and then adult, and then male, young man, and then become bold, and then slowly passes away, and again continues. The soul pass on to next body. So we are the real living force in the body, through which we are able to perceive the things, and all these material things what we have, these are all working and perceiving because of the presence of living force. So but this matter what we are, it'll get end. So like how we see here, understanding this, how we become old, the soul will, this body will not support furthermore, and soul will be transmitted into another body. So similarly, we understand that matter is what we understand, that get decays, but spirit soul continues further. So very easy analogy to understand the car example, like car or a dress what we wear. So if dress becomes old, what we do, we throw the dress, right? Worn out or torn out, we throw the dress and we take another dress. Similarly, when the soul transmigrates from one body to another body. So like say, like for example, now we'll see further, there is verse in Bhagavad Gita which explains that the soul transmigrates in this body and also another body. We'll explain that very nicely. So you can understand between the spiritual and material here. So how we passes on this body. Similarly, we'll go on to the next body. Let's go to the next slide. That's the verse I was explaining. So Krishna explains this verse in Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, 13th verse. So nicely it explains. I'll say it. You can repeat. You can maybe mute. You can repeat there. Dehinosmin yata dehe. You can also repeat because so nice reciting Bhagavad Gita verses. So dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavanam jara
Kaumaram yavunam jara
tata dehantara praptir
tata dehantara praptir
irastatra namuhyate.
dirastatra namuhyate.
Thank you so much for reciting. So we'll understand this by giving the translation. You can all go and mute. Yeah, thank you. So we can see here in this verse, Krishna is explaining Arjuna so nicely about the concept what we discussed till now. It's very practical and very easy to understand. Dehinosmin yata dehe. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. We saw the picture just now, right? How in the same body we see like For example, take ourselves. When we take birth, how we look like, right? After some years, you see how we look like. So we are small baby, then we grow bit boy, and then we grow, we become adult, and then we grow old. It's like we keep on changing in this body only, right? And then similarly, what happens at the time of death? The soul takes go to another body. So the migration, transmigration is happening in this body as well as across the body. So sober person is not built by such a change. So easy to understand the concept, like how we discussed till now. So Krishna so nicely explained this to Arjuna when he's on the battlefield, that we are not this body, we are the soul, and a sober person is not bewildered by such a change. Let's go to the next slide. So key takeaways, what we have discussed till now. So we can see that we understood that because of spirit soul, we were able to perceive everything. Without spirit soul, we cannot, right? And whatever desire we have, according to desire, the body will be awarded, correct? Now, that we discussed about the example of snake, how the snake body has been awarded, right? But one more very important takeaway here is we understand from this story, like short story, but very interesting story. So story of the lost ring. You can see the person over here sitting and searching for something. So wherein what the person actually is searching for, he lost a ring, very golden ring, very costly ring. So he was searching under the light over there, and he was searching for the ring. Where is the ring? So he's searching for quite long time, and a person passing by, he just saw the person, and he saw, hey, this person is doing something for a long time. Maybe I'll see what I can help him. So he went towards this person and asked him, hey, what are you searching for? He told that I lost my golden ring. It's very nice, very costly ring. I'm searching here. So okay, I'll help you. So he started helping him under the light, and they were searching there. After some time, this person asked him, hey, where did you exactly lost your ring? He told, you see there at the there's a there near that building. I lost there. It's very far. So you lost there. Yeah. Then why are you searching here? He asked him. Then he told, there it is too dark. No, that's why I'm searching here. This person got shocked. So he lost the ring there, but he's searching over here. You getting right? Because he's saying that there is light here. That's why I'm searching. That is called ignorance. So we are all in that ignorance, thinking that we are this body, and we keep on satisfying our senses. Like whatever I like, I do it. Like why my tongue satisfies things to eat a lot, I eat. So we just get driven away by all these activities, what our senses drive us to sleep, to eat. So we get driven by that. And what our body needs, we keep on satisfying our body needs, whatever is required to the extent what we know. Because we are in ignorance, understanding that we are this body, correct? But exactly who we are the soul, correct? We are the soul, who are like a driver in the body. How a driver in the car, though the car cannot move, similarly body cannot move an inch without the soul's presence. So we are the soul in the body. So very easy understanding example I'll tell you, which easily you can catch it, like example of parrot in a cage. So if you have a parrot in a cage, what we do, every day the person of the, for example, person having that cage and parrot inside, and the person every day he comes and keep on polishing the cage, that golden cage outside, and he goes away. So parrot is inside, he is keep on decorating the cage of the parrot, but he's not at all taking care of the parrot inside. Parrot, what will happen to the parrot? Parrot will die. Similarly, if you are not taking care of the needs of soul, the soul will die. So we are always taking care of the body, but we understood that we are the soul, and that is what exact our identity, and it is a part and parcel of Lord. So we have to take care of the needs of soul. So that's very important. Yes, that's the key takeaway. I hope all of you could able to understand that analogy. Yes. So now it's the same concept what we discussed now. The same concept was given to Arjuna. So we know Arjuna is such a powerful warrior, very chivalrous fighter. So Arjuna on the battlefield, like how Arjuna was, like Arjuna was like almost like could not able to talk. His hand was shaking. So he was telling that I'm going to fight with my relatives. So my spiritual master, my grandfather. So he was in that condition, correct? That time Krishna gave the knowledge of soul to Arjuna. So by hearing the knowledge of soul, what Arjuna did, you see in the next picture. Arjuna took Gandiva, he took the arrow, and he, as per the Krishna's instructions, he fought the battle and emerges victorious. Although Kauravas are such a huge army, Arjuna could able to easily win over them with the help of Krishna, and he understood that knowledge of soul, and he became very determined to fight. So that's how soul, understanding the knowledge of soul really helps us, and we will also get the qualities of what Arjuna has. So we'll see what is the position of Arjuna. Arjuna, what he did. Arjuna also, in the position, Arjuna, if you see, Arjuna is talking to Krishna like a friend. Why? Because Krishna is his aunt's son, so cousin kind of. So when they starting of the battlefield, what happened? Arjuna was able to talk to Krishna, and they were in friendly talks. Arjuna saying, Krishna, take me to the middle where I could see who are there. So like that. But when he could see them who are all there for fighting in the battle, what happened to Arjuna? Arjuna immediately thought, oh, I will not be able to fight, and he was thinking, I'll kill all these relatives. So he was in that mood of not able to fight, shaking. So that time Arjuna told, he surrendered to Krishna, saying that just end of friendly talks. Krishna, I'm surrendered to you. Please instruct me what I should do. What is the real dharma? So then Arjuna took the position of a disciple, not a friend. So then Krishna instructed him, Arjuna, his knowledge. So this spiritual knowledge, which is the main essence of Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna spoke to Arjuna. So we also we surrender to Lord, and we understand this knowledge in the way what Arjuna understood it. So how we should get it? We are understanding these sessions. We'll be able to easily take you to all these sessions. It's very simplified. It's simple examples where you can easily understand the concepts very easily. So now what are we doing now in this session? Understanding the basic concepts of these 5 themes, especially Jiva, Prakriti, Ishvara, Kala, and Karma, which will lay the foundation and which will help you to understand further more concepts in depth, very easy to understand, and really helps us to make our life successful and very happy. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, we can see in the same picture, in the picture here, left side. So if you see the person entering in the door, right, in the left side, and again, the prince is at the end of old age and passing away, and once he passes away, again comes back as a small boy over here. So coming back, so we it's called reincarnation. So we take birth again. There are so much of research on it, and you can see in these pictures also that person body is lying over there, but soul is coming out of the body. So there are so much of research on it, and there are so much of interesting articles published that there is reincarnation again. We take birth again. So let's go to the next slide. And also understanding this knowledge of soul, we can see that person will become very content, very satisfied. He'll be very tolerant. He'll be very patient. So we can see all the good qualities here. The person lending hand to others is potentially very good person. So, but by not having this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, what will happen? Person will be always depressed. He'll be in anxiety. He'll be in stress. So that's understanding this knowledge really helps us, and by gaining this knowledge and spreading this knowledge to others, so really helps us. So it will become content, really happy, very satisfied, and we'll get all the qualities as Prabhupada explained in the video. But all the qualities of demigods will be there in the devotee who practices Bhagavad Gita. So by understanding this knowledge and practicing, we'll become successful. We'll become a very great person and good person. So here, what we're going to see next. So I'll just try to summarize what we discussed till now, what we have discussed. So what we have discussed till now is we understood that because of the presence of our soul, because our reality is soul. Because of the presence of soul, we will see everything, the consciousness, what we have, our senses are perceiving. Because of the presence of soul, we're able to do it. And also we understood more about how we understood that how the soul transmigration happens in this body from boyhood to youth, and then old age, and then death. So similarly, after death also soul continues. That's called transmigration after. So we understood that principle also, and we saw nice analogies to understand, how we understood the Newton story, but understanding that even at the higher level there is a person behind this whole universe, who is the controller. Like in our body, soul is the main person. Similarly, for all the material universe, whatever is there, Lord is there, who is controlling everything, right? And also we understood the analogy of understanding the person who lost ring, searching because of ignorance. He lost somewhere else and is searching. Similarly, we are also understanding that we are the body and we are satisfying our body, right? So we understood the example of that cage in a parrot also. We should understand the needs of soul, and we should always feed the soul what we are exactly. So we discussed about that also. And we understood the importance of this by reading the verse in Bhagavad Gita also, that how this transmigration happens. And we should give importance to soul, and we should understand uh, giving how to give the food to soul in this concept furthermore. So we have further sessions on this topic. Like we have as explained earlier, that 5 themes we are explaining about Bhagavad Gita, like Ishvara and Prakriti, Karma and Kala. In further sessions we'll go understand these concepts very nicely through these courses, and we'll be able to understand the concepts. Then we can go ahead into advanced courses. So there are few expectations, like course expectations we have, like understanding the scriptures what we have discussed, understanding the verse concepts what we are discussing. By doing this course, what we understanding is we'll gain more mental strength, be very peace, very happy. We understand real values of life. Like we have seen that that staircase where we discussed about the qualities, right? There we have seen that there are different qualities at the top level, where there are some qualities at the down level. There are kind of pride, anger. So which will, these are the qualities which will make us glide down. There are some qualities which will help us to glide up and will elevate. Like kind of I told, sense control, tolerance, patience. So reading scriptures, Vedas, which will help us to understand, which will help us to elevate. So by doing this, practicing this Bhagavad Gita knowledge, what we are discussing, will slowly put in practice. Now what we are doing, we are gaining knowledge, we're gaining more, understanding the importance of this concepts in Bhagavad Gita. So by gaining the knowledge, when we put this in practice, what will happen is slowly we'll get purified. So we'll get purified and we'll become successful person. We'll become very happy, as explained. We gain the values of life. So we become self-realized person. So that will be the course expectations. And I also would like to have all of you. You now we heard about soul. We saw that how there is plant also, there is life, and different kinds of living species also they are life, right? So now when you go back, yeah, you can answer the poll also. This just I'm discussing that same point I was discussing now, that how the living entities are there, because we could see there are different living species. Now if you go back from today to tomorrow, we can observe everything, right? We can easily see and understand. You can give your observations, like how you found that there is something interesting, like whatever you told, I could able to see that every living species soul's presence is there. That's why I could able to see that there is birth, there is growth, there is maintenance, there is byproducts, so everywhere. So because of the presence of soul, so I could see the 6 changes. And you can please answer this poll what Akshay Prabhu shared. So it's the same thing what we discussed, and you can share your thoughts. You can also put your questions in the chat. So we'll yeah, once this poll is completed, we can definitely see. Good that we understand. Yeah. So, Prabhuji, I would like to stop here, and I would like to have some question and answer session. So we have a Sankarshan Prabhu, myself, so we can take up some question and answers. So what you will have. So
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class. I'm just unmuting the devotees. So devotees line, so they can directly ask you the questions. One by one, please, and you can raise your hand so that we can go.
yeah, one by one you can ask your questions. We are ready to answer your questions with our best of knowledge.
Prabhuji, you can drop sharing slides.
Sure, sure. Thank you. I cannot hear anyone. Somebody
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
is
Can I
speaking.
speak?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
Yes, yes,
Prabhuji.
Prabhu.
Yeah, wonderful session, Prabhuji. I am from Abu Dhabi, Uttar Pradesh. So thank you for the invitation. So Prabhuji, just I had 2 questions. One was which Bhagavad Gita we have to read. There are a lot of Bhagavad Gitas. So which Bhagavad Gita we have to read? And second was the soul, if it is present in all the things, living things. So what we, the plants and agricultural items. So when we kill them also, so will it affect us? So that was the second question. So thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Very wonderful question, Prabhuji. Thank you for your question. So I think Prabhuji already shared it. We should read, as I explained that in one of the slide about parampara, like authenticity. So we understand that the Bhagavad Gita book as it is, when it's there with me, the same book. So we can see that. So I'll like Bhagavad Gita as it is. So Prabhupada has written this Bhagavad Gita as it is, the title. The why has written as it is it is like Lord has given this knowledge to Arjuna, and I said it is coming in the parampara, like it is coming in the parampara. The way to understand Bhagavad Gita is in that manner only, like how Guru teaches the disciple, and disciple teaches the disciple, and keeps going, so that the knowledge is authentic and it is not polluted anywhere in between. So we should. I recommend that everyone read Bhagavad Gita as it is, which Prabhupada has given to all of us. Prabhuji. And second question, as Prabhuji asked, that even we understand that there are all the trees, plants, fruits, they also have living species, living, they are also having soul. So if you take them, that means you are harming them, right? If you cut a fruit, if you cut a plant, that means you are harming them, right? So how to do it? So I'll just give answer it. We have further more sessions explaining it. I'll just give the answer which you can understand. Like Krishna explains that in the Bhagavad Gita only, he explains that patram pushpam phalam toyam yoma bhakti prayachate tadaham bhakti upuratam asnami prayatatmanaha. He tells that whatever we take this fruit or a flower or a leaf, can offer to Krishna and then we have it. So, and also these living species, whatever you are saying, the fruit and leaf, Krishna says that these are the things which human beings can have it. Human beings can have it. And these species, if you offer to Krishna and then you have it, those reactions are being taken away. So you will not get any reactions. So Krishna promised it in Bhagavad Gita.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Wonderful class. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your question.
Prabhuji, can I speak?
Yes. Yes.
Prabhuji, that my question was the soul is Dhenu Prabhuji, and my mother was being called for 30 minutes, so I didn't hear. Can you just explain that? How to even someone asked that how to feed something like soul food. Like, I think you explained it.
Okay, I'll explain in a very short, very easy, understandable way. Like the presence of soul can be understood by consciousness. One thing is consciousness, like we are perceiving, right? For example, you see a dead person lying before you. Can a dead person see? Can a dead person hear? No, right? Can a dead person feel pain when I pinch? No, correct?
No.
Presence of soul, we can feel all this consciousness. It is called Chetana, consciousness. We can feel it. And also we can see when there is a soul, we can see the 6 changes. Like we take birth, we grow, correct? We maintain, we produce byproducts, children will be there, and we dwindle and then we die. Correct? No? Presence of soul, we can see all these changes. And we see the consciousness is very important. Clear?
And Prabhuji, after the class, there is a quiz, Prabhuji.
Now we'll have quiz at the end, 6 session. We'll have a 6 session. There we'll have one quiz for all the sessions. So we can make note of whatever we discussed today, and we'll have a quiz.
Actually, I didn't make a note because my mother was having a call. So many calls.
Yeah, we have recording. We'll share it. No worries. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, I'm chanting Panchatattva mantra and Hare Krishna Maha Mantra every day, one round.
Haribol, Jay, very good. Haribol.
Prabhuji, I am just 10 years old. Is that okay? I will attend this class.
Yeah, sure. You can attend the class.
Okay.
Anyone can attend the
And even I have Bhagavad Gita as it is book, Prabhuji.
Very good. You keep reading it. Yeah. As a course
And even matchless gift.
yeah. Very good. Please continue reading it. I will have an option to others also. We'll get the chance. They'll ask questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yes, Mataji, please.
So this is the first time I am taking Bhagavad Gita classes. And is there any like before taking simplified course, should I read the Bhagavad Gita as it is before and attend this class, or can I directly attend the class?
You can directly attend the class now. We will go into the next course. Now see, for example, today we discussed in a simplified way. Like we saw only one verse today, correct?
Yeah.
One verse we understood that. We have seen that the changes, how we boy, youth, and then old age, and then we further continue the next life. Similarly, we'll go in a simplified way, like first course, understanding these basic concepts of Bhagavad Gita. Then will be next course, advanced course, where we'll go through every verse in Bhagavad Gita, understand in detail every chapter. I think.
Okay.
So it will be
We
very.
will cover almost all the Bhagavad Gita verses in the simplified course.
No. In the simplified course, we'll cover only these topics, basic concepts.
Okay.
After understanding these concepts, we'll have further advanced course, next course.
Okay.
That course will cover all the things. That will make you easy to understand and read Bhagavad Gita also. But that means it will be easy for you after understanding this. You can easily continue the advanced course.
Okay. How many verses can we learn in this basic course?
Yeah. Now today we learned second chapter, 13th verse. You
Yeah.
can go ahead and read that verse. What I told you will easily understand now.
Okay.
Whatever we discussed in class today, you can go and read that verse in Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, are you able to hear me?
Yes, bro. Yes, bro. Yes.
Prabhuji, I just wanted to know that, like, what are the rules and when should I start reading Bhagavad Gita? Like, are there any timing in the morning, afternoon, or the evening? So, what is the right time to study? Read Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, good question. My suggestion is like you can read Bhagavad Gita like whenever. You can read Bhagavad Gita anytime. So just don't wait for it. You can start reading it. You can read anytime. Like as Mata is also asking, like generally we tend to have a lot of things in our life where we give time to our other activities. So we'll not get time to touch and read Bhagavad Gita. But my suggestion is whenever you get time, read Bhagavad Gita. So as I said about particular timings, I was saying that preferable timings will be in the morning if you are very like Brahma Muhurta time, or we'll have that clear of mindset and we can read Bhagavad Gita. But you can read anytime. There is no particular time that you have to read this time only or no, nothing like that. But I'm just saying it's preferable that your mind will be very calm, very peaceful when you read in the morning.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
There is no disturbance in the morning, so that's the best time. But anytime we can read.
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So, I have this question that with what mindset should we approach Krishna in Bhagavad Gita?
Yes, Mataji. Yes. We have seen in the one of the slide, Arjuna how approached Krishna, the similar mode only. So we should approach Krishna in a disciple mode, surrendered. We are surrendered to Lord. So what is surrender means? We understand like Arjuna initially how he spoke to Krishna like a friend, correct? He's talking to Krishna like cousin, like Krishna and friendly talks. But if you see Arjuna, how he was in the mood when he was in the need, like how he bent down to Lord and asked Lord, please instruct me. I don't know anything. I think that I am this body and I know that I'm suffering a lot in this material world. Please instruct me so that I'll understand who I am exactly and what is this world, why am I here, what is my purpose of life. Please explain me more. So in that mood, like in the mood of surrender and in the kind of disciple understanding the Lord as spiritual master, so we'll be able to understand the Bhagavad Gita.
Thank you,
Prabhuji,
Prabhuji.
I am Ramchandra from Canada speaking. I have a small question. These mountains, peaks, little it grows. I heard. Will there be any presence of soul in that?
You are asking about the question where Prabhuji, mountains having souls, right?
Yes. Mountains, peaks.
Yeah, Himalayas, like you are father of Parvati, right? So, like a personality, personification, like they are the persons who are the mountains also. They are personification. So they are Himalayas, like he's the personified, no Prabhuji. So there is soul there. He's a person. Himalayas is a person, right?
Oh, I see. So, that means to say the soul contains in that.
Yeah.
It is a person.
Yeah, not telling. Yeah. So my understanding is like I'm trying to explain. Maybe Sankarsha we want to add. Like I'm saying that Himalayas, like what I consider Himalaya mountain, is personified, like who has Yeah, we learned that he's a daughter. He's a, I mean, father of Mother Parvati when she comes to material world. Like he's a person.
I see. I see. I see. I see. I see.
So
No, I understand.
yeah.
Oh, Prabhuji, this is Bindu.
Yes, ma'am.
You hear me, Prabhuji?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you. Yes.
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Bindu.
Yes,
Prabhuji, Bhagavad Gita has used 700 slokas are there. So, is for a common individual like me, is it possible to memorize the all, or at least by seeing the what we say slokas, the down conclusion or whatever we say? How can we memorize that? Main question: how can we memorize?
Yes, Mataji. Yeah, very good question you asked. So actually, when my personal experience when I took Bhagavad Gita, I thought I'll not able to read it. When I read it, I could not understand it. Correct? No, we'll feel that difficulty. But what happened after hearing the lectures of this kind of courses, we'll have further more detailed course reading and memorizing the verses. So we have a separate session where we teach how to memorize the verses. For example, now today we discussed one verse, right? Second chapter, 13th verse. So there is a way we can read in certain way together, and you can easily memorize those verses, and you'll understand the meaning of the verse. Then you can easily memorize the verse. So, for example, today we read the verse. I clearly explained, like we dehinos meta dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara. Kaumaram means boyhood.
Engage.
Yavvanam means youth.
Oh, Yavvanam engage.
Jara means old age. So understanding the meaning of that word will make us easily memorize the verse also. So when we are reciting the verse, we have to read, understand the word of it, and then we'll memorize it together. So we have further sessions, Mataji, where we'll definitely have the verses memorization session, where we'll teach you like how to memorize the verses also. Slowly.
Duration, I mean, for general average duration to memorize for average people.
Yes, Mataji, everyone can easily memorize it by practice. So Krishna says by practice we can easily memorize it. We have to practice it every day. So Bhagavad Gita is knowledge there in book Krishna given us, and Prabhupada so nicely explained, and Prabhupada told how to practice it also. So we memorize it and we practice it very nicely.
And second, I had in Bhagavad Gita, the book, whatever ISKCON when kit we got it. Purport, what is meaning? Why the purport is? And what we get from the purport? Because the sloka is in 2 lines. Purport is in many lines.
Very good, very wonderful question, Mataji, what you asked. So very wonderful question. I'll explain you with one point which I told in today's lecture. If you see the first slide, I explained about Bhagavad Gita glimpse. At last point I told about Sanjaya. You read Sanjaya?
Sanjay is the charioteer for Panduraju.
Assistant of Dhritarashtra, who saw the Kurukshetra war. And he told to Dhritarashtra, right? So how will you get to know all these things? First verse in Bhagavad Gita says, Dhritarashtra uvacha. Then Sanjaya, Dhritarashtra asking Sanjaya to tell what happened in the battlefield. Dharmakshetre, Kurukshetre. So then the word comes Sanjaya there. So he's asking Sanjaya. Dhritarashtra asking Sanjaya. So Kim Makurvata Sanjaya. First verse. Kim Makurvata Sanjaya. First verse. So Sanjaya word come. Who is Sanjaya? How will we know? We don't know, right? So translation tells that Dhritarashtra is asking Sanjaya, tell me what happened in the battlefield to my sons and Pandu's sons. So purport, if you see, Prabhupada explained in the purport in detailed explanation, understanding what happened before, what is happening now, and what is the context here, and who are these people, what is their intentions. Mataji, who is Dhritarashtra, who is Sanjaya, and how Sanjaya could able to see the battlefield. That is explained in the purport. If you read the purport, you'll understand Sanjaya is the disciple of Vyasadeva, and he was able to see the Kurukshetra war because of the empowerment of Vyasadeva. And what is the intention of Dhritarashtra? So those are all explained detail in the purport.
Yeah. Confusion. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Actually, I'm back again, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, actually, I am a paramedic. Can I carry Bhagavad Gita and take it to the hospital? Actually, in hospital, there are death and births, actually. So, can I carry Bhagavad Gita and read there? Is it a place to read Bhagavad Gita or not, Prabhuji?
Prabhuji, you can carry anywhere Bhagavad Gita. Actually, if you see any person passes away, we'll read Bhagavad Gita there and we'll sit and read Bhagavad Gita there, especially 8th chapter. So it really benefits the person who are there, who passed away also. If they hear Bhagavad Gita, it will benefit them. So wherever we are, we can carry Prabhuji. Especially hospital, we can carry, because if you carry Bhagavad Gita, if you read the slokas loudly there, it will benefit the people around you also. You can carry Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Which chapter to be read in front of the death body, Prabhuji?
8th chapter, Prabhuji. 8th chapter.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Why, Prabhu, 8th chapter?
Yes, Mata, I'll explain. So 8th chapter, we see Krishna is explaining about what will happen at the time of death. It's a very important concept. You know, we're going to cover, but yeah, Krishna explains there that what happens at the time of death is that state will carry. Like Krishna explains that in the 8th chapter. Like when you are passing away from this body, what will happen? So that part is explained there very nicely by Krishna in further many verses. So that really helps the person who is about to pass away or passed away. They hear those verses, it really helps them, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavats pranams.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah, Guruji, will you teach slokas in these 6 days?
This 6 days, what we are discussing about these topics, which will have few slokas there. So like today we read about 13th sloka in 2nd chapter. We can go and revise it. But slokas will have a separate session. Like we'll now cover the basic concepts first. Like now we saw these concepts, right? Understanding who are we and the other concepts. Later we'll have sessions where we memorize the slokas along with the meaning.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Any other questions? So almost like 8:30 now. If any other questions from anyone, you would like to ask any question? Hope you understood the session today. Sorry for going a bit fast. So I'll make the pace go down. Next time I'll take care of it. So, but hope all of you enjoyed it. And I'd like to welcome all of you for tomorrow's session. We'll discuss about Ishvara. Please don't miss it. We'll go ahead together and we understand the concepts nicely.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
I'm
Krishna.
ending the class here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.